I'm I feel so afraid to mess up that it feels easier just to not begin unless I'm sure.
Yeah, that's like that's me too in some ways, and I'm finding out that how that's gonna change. Like I'm developing like I guess they're called dramas. I'm developing dramas in my head to help those change. Like I'm imagining scenarios in which
I call it the sim.
I break it.
That's literally all my sim was doing. I would like create scenarios based off of my own logic and play them out. Play as many scenarios, going from great to worse in my head. Normally starting off with the worst ones because I'm aware that I'm on the time limit. Because even though I'm taking thought away to think something up real quick and make sure that my answer is right, I'm still like standing idly, not saying anything in real life. So that's still an action. So normally I only play out the worst ones, and then based off the worst ones of my own perception, I decide how it is I'm going to move forward from that point. Based off the worst case scenario, for lack of a better term. I understand it's not like the best thing to do, but it's kept me
It's
out
what
of a
you've
lot of
used to
trouble.
compromise.
It's kept me out of a lot of trouble up to this point. It's gotten me here.
Yeah, so it's not a bad thing.
Not at
It's
all.
just
It's just
like
my judgment.
for me, like um
That doesn't mean it doesn't have its faults, but when I'm aware of them, I'll try to fix them.
I just don't want to, because I think I'm almost the opposite. Like you will put it on when. Well, I guess no. We're the same in that situation. It's like when the situation presents itself, you put on the mask. And I'm trying to say fuck the mask. That mask is really like some saran wrap on my face because it's really me. I'm just putting up this protective layer and it's suffocating me. So it really is like saran wrap, like
But like
it's see through.
when I started to talk about how I felt about it in that sense, you gave me some words that gave me a different perspective. You said, don't look at it so negatively because it's still you.
Yeah. You shouldn't be don't if that's you, don't change who you are, especially for somebody else. That's the whole thing. That's what'll break the whole. You don't even have to get rid of the sim.
I
You just
played this man named
don't
Orange
be
Panda.
the sim for somebody for the sake of their approval.
There was a
Know that
time
that
about
sim
2 years
is something
ago
that you have,
that
something that you
I played
use,
this man
and
named
it's
Orange
at your
Panda.
will. But if you don't want to do something, don't put the sim on because you don't want to
There
do
was a
something.
time about
That's where I draw my line now. Because I know exactly where I don't want to do shit, and I'll still compromise.
yeah, I do it all the
That right
time.
there is the line where my respect gets made.
I just gave my dad told me he was coming out here, and I felt like I wanted to help him, but at the same time, like he was basically giving me an ultimatum with it. He was like presenting it as a question, even though he already knew my answer,
Uh huh.
and then like also presenting a fake option, which is like still a realistic option, but again, because he already knows my answer, it puts me in a place where, again, like I feel so inclined to already, like this is basically like it instead of it's presenting, he's basically presenting it to me in a way that feels like I have to stop myself talking. and I just went back to look at the rule.
Yeah. You see how easy, right, dude? It's good you're super conscious of it already, though. That seed.
I'm not impeccable with my word. I'm definitely taking things personal right now,
Yes, dude. I
and
was just
I'm
talking to my
all
mom.
all of this is all assumption. And
Yeah.
I for sure, but I did do my best.
And
I did do my best.
the hell you're feeling is real.
I definitely did my best. That's crazy. All 3 rules in a row right now. Like, right now. Right now. Like, it all just hit me. All 3.
And you're talking about a situation that is making you feel negatively.
I got slapped by all 3. Not even
I
5
was literally,
minutes.
bro, I was just talking to my mom, and I was like, Mom, I'm listening to myself, and I want to make a decision, but I don't want to make my decision purely off of my emotions, so I'm gonna call you. And then I told her I was reading about the book and stuff, and
Yeah.
by the end of me explaining my situation to her, I was like, dang, I'm assuming right now. Dang, and I'm taking it personal.
Yeah.
I gotta.
It's so deeply rooted. It's
Yeah.
so deeply rooted.
That's because it's like how they said, our life is a dream, and our actual sleep dreams are like manifestations of our life. We're living. This is like a bad dream, but it's the first dream. It's the dream we created without knowing what was wrong, and now our job is to create the second dream with these agreements in mind. And that's not to say that the other dream won't exist within you, because you'll still remember it.
When
You'll
you
still
say,
have
I
that
know you
feeling
say
of it.
agreement, and you say it very softly. Actually, shit. Okay. No, this isn't. Well, I'm not sure. I want to say I'm not making assumptions right now, but at the same time, what is comprehension? Isn't there some underlying assumption that's being made, or is that why I'm supposed to just take the words for what they are? Okay, continue. I'll develop what I was going to say.
Assumptions are just like,
That's what I'm saying though. Like, what is? But that's, well, I mean, me trying to talk about it now is still making an assumption with the word. Just take it for what it is, and whatever you think is what you think. Just try to check yourself on assumptions. At least that's how I'm getting this. But what I was going to say was, you say, no.
you said I was saying the 4 agreements softly. What do you mean by softly? They're like, the 4 agreements are the pinnacle of this book. Those are the 4 things we just went over. They're agreements. You have to agree to these things in order to live the good, complete dream, the heaven
Okay.
on earth.
Okay. My question was, what's the difference between an agreement and a rule? And you just answered it. An agreement is something that is a rule that's presented that you do not have to take.
It's a way of compromising.
Yeah. Agreement is to take this and agree to it. But that's what I mean. Like,
It's like a contract. You could turn
Yeah.
it down, and
It's
you
a
can break
contract.
the agreement. But when you break the agreement,
You're losing.
like
out
say you
on
break
the
one of these
benefits
agreements, you have to make a new agreement with yourself.
at some point.
Like immediately. Like if you break it, then or immediately is kind of like
But that's what I mean, though.
not the
Like,
right word.
I
but
don't. But I think it is the right word, because I would say once you broke the agreement, you've already made another agreement. You made the agreement to break it.
Well, that's not what I was going towards.
But
It's like if you
that's how
break
I
an
see it. Like, I'm just trying to, like, not even, like, that's what I mean. I'm just saying how the words, I'm perceiving it, and I'm trying to look at it for everything within it, all the good and the bad of it. Like, if you break an agreement, you made an agreement to break it. That's just, like, I feel like that's just a fact. Like, at that point, you're just recording the history. You're recording the history. You're just, like, that statement that I'm saying, all I'm trying to do is just to record the history of what is happening without any feelings involved, any emotion involved at all. I'm just trying to, I feel like I'm the court person just recording everything that's happening.
Yeah, you're
That's
the
how
judge.
that's how I'm trying. Not even the judge. I'm not the judge because the judge has to make a decision. I'm just trying to speak from the person who's sitting to the right of the judge and not the left with the security guard. We're just recording the entire, all of the events, the crowd, everything for the files.
You you are your own judge though. That's
That's
why you feel
facts.
bad when you do shit.
That's facts.
That's what I meant by you're the judge. You're the judge and you're the victim. And when you break one of the agreements, like if you don't use your words impeccably, or if you do take things personal, or if you don't try your best, then you make an agreement
Okay,
to
well,
try your
one,
best, or
yeah, okay.
a
For
positive affirmation after.
Rule 4 makes all of these doable.
Right.
Rule 4 has to be here because if Rule 4 wasn't here, you would be stuck in a cycle. Because like,
Yeah.
yeah, you even like every time I correct myself, I'm sitting here beating myself up over my own communication, sitting here like, why didn't I study harder? Like my brain goes to like, why wasn't I studying harder in college? Like, will my communication be better if I tried harder? No, because I did
You
try
gotta
hard.
accept yourself.
I definitely did try hard. Like I didn't just.
You graduated, Brett.
That's what I'm saying. Like
You gotta
did try hard.
like forgive yourself.
That's what I'm saying. My homeboy has a bachelor's degree. Every time I see it, I look at him like, how lucky is it that I was able to meet you in your lifetime? And more importantly, at least to myself, I always looked at myself like you guys are the same age. Like, I understand you're not supposed to stack yourself up to other people, but at the same time, this is something that subconsciously happens, regardless. Just because it's a thought doesn't mean you have to act on it, but that doesn't mean the thought never existed.
But like, I feel like an assumption is subtly made when comparing yourself to other people.
This is true.
You're looking at them subjectively better or worse than you.
But that's what I mean. Like that's what I mean by like Rule 4 helps with this, because obviously like I'm human and these things are still deeply rooted. Just because I make the agreement doesn't mean things are just gonna. It's not like I'm erasing everything before, because then it wouldn't be me anymore. Which is why Rule 4 makes all of this possible, because I'm still gonna make assumptions, but I'm just supposed to try my best not to. So from that point on, I'm looking at it like that's like your thoughts don't define you. All of that talk, it starts to make a lot more sense.
You tried your best.
I'm doing my best, but that doesn't mean I'm perfect. Like I don't. Just
and your best is always
automatically-
gonna look different. You have to understand that. Like
That's
the
facts.
energy level you went to sleep with is gonna determine the energy level you wake up with. And sometimes you're gonna wake up with more energy. Sometimes you're gonna wake up more enthused. Sometimes you're gonna wake up less enthused. And your best will always look different. But it's important that you know you did your best. So you can't even stack it up to like, you just have to know what you are capable of. And that scopes everybody out of the question. Like, it has to become about you and your goals.
That's what I mean. I need. I always want to. Even as a kid, I always just wanted to make my agreements quickly, so I can start moving, start working on it. I'm sick of like. I don't like to regret things, which means I find the most regrets when I understand there has been time devoted and wasted. So.
You're very fearful.
With that.
Well, I don't want to actually. There you go, right there.
Nah, you're fine. You're fine. You said what you felt. That's.
I am fearful, and
that's what
I have.
I'm not supposed to be making assumptions anyway, and I'm not supposed to take it personal. So we're cool. Like I hear that, I'm like, yeah.
Fear has.
Yeah.
Fear is. You can treat fear like an animal, metaphorically, and it needs food. And there's 4 emotions that feed fear. And in order to stop fear from happening within you, you have to starve it from these emotions. And the 4 emotions that feed fear are anger, guilt, shame, and what was it? I think it was love. It's on my phone. Let me see.
Love makes sense.
Yeah, because
Love makes a lot of sense. Love can brew fear, and fear can most definitely brew hatred.
okay, yeah. Oh no, it's not. Okay, my bad. I fucked it up. But you're almost right, because that's why I was thinking almost like you. Okay, so fear comes from anger, hate, anxiety, and guilt. That's where fear gets fed by these four. So when you're angry, when you hate something or somebody, when you're anxious, or when you feel guilt. It is true that there are only two primary emotions, though. Those primary emotions are love and fear. But it's love or fear. We cannot feel both of these emotions at the same time. You can't fear and love. One of them's stronger, and that's the one that decides your decisions.
What?
If you love something more than you fear it, you're willing to do more for it because you're doing it out of love. But if you fear something more than you love it, you're not going to do it because you fear more than you love it. You want to know why I'm not a Twitch streamer?
You don't love it. You just fear not being
I
a Twitch
fear it
streamer.
more.
Yeah. You fear not being a Twitch streamer.
I
Close
fear
enough.
all the things that come negatively with becoming a Twitch streamer. I fear the negative scenarios that might transpire, and it overwhelms my desire to actually make it as of now. But I'm aware. That's like one of the greatest things you can do is be aware. I'm aware now. And at first I was just going along as if this was just like my life drama. But it is my life drama. It's just it can be changed, and I was originally under the impression that it's not necessarily changeable, it's just who I am and how things are around me. But I'm the fucking dictator. And the things that happen around me, I let happen. But I just didn't understand how much control I truly had.
Facts. Love can inspire love, excuse me. Quite easily too. Especially with these being the only the primary two. Like, it makes sense that they're the two strongest emotions, so you can really feel them. You can
Right.
really feel them. You can.
They're literally what
You
when
can feel
you're a
them
baby,
secondhand
bro,
too.
you're crying or you're giggling. It's either love or fear. Fear that you're not going to get your needs met again, no more titty milk, so you're going to cry. I'm not being held anymore. Fearful I'm never going to get picked up again. Why aren't they picking me up? I got to do this now. That's how you know it's the primary emotions. Fucking unconscious ass baby is out here spitting both of these emotions like. Yeah.
And it
They
makes
giggle,
sense.
cry, sleep,
And it makes sense
eat
why they
shit.
like. Yeah. just happy. I know like some people is like, yeah, I had a good baby. I never really understood what that meant until now. Like, yeah, like my boy was
Um,
just chilling. He wasn't even really. He was always cool.
there was no when a kid has like a normal upbringing, they probably had no controlled dramas, and that's what I learned about in my other book. Like when you're considered to be acting out, because that's what they call it, right? When you're acting out as a kid, you're using these control dramas to bring energy your way because you feel the need to have energy, or like somebody's around and you want their energy. Like you might have people over, family over, so now you acting out because you want their energy, and you're like kind of aware but not aware enough to be like phased by somebody saying you're acting out because you're like a little kid. You're not caring about the past or fear in the future. You're just doing what feels right, and gaining energy feels good, obviously. But there's 4 ways. Like everybody gets energy from other people through four specific ways. There's the intimidator. Pretty like, I don't know if it's pretty self-explanatory. Like you intimidate somebody, they show what the second control drama is, which is a victim. An intimidator creates a victim, and the intimidator feeds off of the energy of the victim, and the victim submissively gives their energy to them. The energy flows into the intimidator. But the victim can retaliate and turn into another intimidator. And those two buck heads. If you run into an intimidator, it'll either bring out a poor me or another intimidator if they're stuck in their control dramas. But there's another one, which is the aloof. And the aloof person is like shy, like not really friendly. But they're not a piece of shit though. They're just not really friendly. Like, they don't go out of their way to talk to people. Just really like timid. Like you don't really know how they feel. They could be happy, they could be sad, they could be mad. You can't really tell. It's like unreadable. And that control drama, because like those people end up making people ask questions like, what's wrong? How you feeling? Like, are you okay? You mad? Like, what's going on? And that's the 4th control drama, which is the interrogator, which asks all the questions and tries to understand how the other person's feeling. They're gaining energy by asking you what's going on. It's giving them energy. But the interrogator brings the aloof person along. Then the aloof person couldn't exist without an interrogator, because the interrogator asked them all the questions, and then the aloof person shells up because they feel this pressure, they feel this energy, and they just start not asking, or they can like start like I guess like judging or thinking what the other person is like trying to imply, and it might cause them to close up. And that just brings the interrogator even closer. They're like, what's going on? You just really want to ask questions by that point.
That seems real similar to the victim versus the.
Yeah, they like almost pair with each other.
They seem like 2 sides to the same coin.
They're all completely different though.
Really?
Like an intimidator and an interrogator are different. An intimidator is trying to be alpha. The interrogator is trying to understand you. He's trying to get the questions out of you. He's trying to pick your brain. He's trying to understand that side. And an intimidator they're not gonna, it's like, it's not mandated to interrogate you. They're just gonna be like, what's up? In your face. They're going to intimidate you with raw energy. Sometimes words don't even have to be said to be an intimidator. But words have to be said to be an interrogator. And at the same time, though, an intimidator can make somebody aloof. Just like an interrogator can make somebody aloof. But an interrogator doesn't make an intimidator like that. I don't know how that doesn't. Some of them make the others, but not all of them go full circle like that. Like,
that's what I mean. I felt like it was. I felt like.
The poor me usually comes from an intimidator. The aloof comes from the interrogator or the intimidator. And that's it. And the interrogator interrogates the aloof person. So the poor me person is just like, I'm sad, like, that's where they get their energy from. They're just sad and they want people to feel bad for them because that gives them energy. It literally gives them energy. Some people will just hide off in a corner and just not say anything to anybody, but they kind of want somebody, like they want to express themselves. It's just like, I don't know, everybody's poor me comes out differently, but more or less it's like being a victim and gaining your energy from other people from playing the victim. So whether you feel good because you intimidate people or you feel good because you're asking people questions, or you feel good or you feel powerful, like you get energy from keeping yourself hidden because you don't want people to understand you. That might be your thing. And then you're getting energy from the intimidator. They feed off of each other. The aloof person gets energy from the interrogator. The aloof person gets energy from the interrogator, and the interrogator is getting energy by asking the aloof person shit. So they just feed off each other. Aloof people and interrogators tend to get along really well. Because that person's going to ask how the other person's feeling. And that person doesn't want to say it, but they'll wait around. And then the interrogator's just going to pop eventually. You're like, what's up? You're acting a little strange. Everything okay? And then they're like, well, boom. Now it's now they're exchanging energies. And kids use all four of these control dramas and act out. They're acting through these control dramas. So there might be that bad little kid that just has to bully people, or there's that one kid that has to know everything, or just feel like he needs to scope himself out through the whole room.
Complex.
Yeah, like they're asking questions just to see where they are with other people. Or you don't want to be around people, or like you want friends but you don't want to talk to them directly, so you're going to be off but kind of noticeable. But it's just like they don't know if you want to play or you don't want to play until somebody comes up to you. And then you could be the kid that's like, my family life was really bad at home. I really want to play with these toys right now. And that's how they get their energy. Because they present a poor me to somebody, and that person usually feels compassionate or empathetic for them and gives them that energy or validation that they need. Everybody has these control dramas. I'm not here to tell you which you are, but I know what I am. It's up to you to go into your past and see where these control dramas apply to your life and how they apply to your life and where they apply to your life. and the goal is to be aware of everywhere that you use control dramas and which one's like your strongest one, like which one are you most dominant with. Understand that and try to not let that control drama dictate how you give your energy. Because like a situation will pop off like an intimidator and aloof. Like the intimidator will ask a question and the aloof person's like, what's up? Why do you need to know? Who are you? And the other person's like, I didn't ask all that. Now tell me what's up. Tell me what blah blah blah. I need this answer. And the other dude's like, I still don't know what you're talking about. He's like, I'm telling you, you know what I'm talking. And then that's how that works. But if you know what your control drama is, if you're the intimidator and you see that other person acting aloof, you could either not fall into your control drama or call out their control drama. It's like, why are you doing that? Why are you keep raising your voice? You don't have to raise your voice. Or you're being really unclear right now. Like, what's going on? If you call out the control drama, you make people break that energy dynamic and it kind of guard breaks them. If you can call it out correctly, like say you're getting food and somebody's like really cussing out one of the employees and you try to diffuse the situation and you call him out for his control drama. Now you're going to see how he reacts, and obviously it's like if you got the read
what's your
correctly.
true personality? What do you
Huh?
really mean? That's when you see people for that's the true colors.
Yeah, like shit. Is it gonna consume them, or are they gonna be aware and stop?
I mean,
That's kind of it's risky
Yeah.
doing it with intimidators because you don't know what they're gonna do. But it's like if you call out somebody else, like you're being really like shy. I don't know, like tell me what's on your mind, or like if you call out other people's control dramas. I mean, I don't know. Don't do it for like the wrong reasons. I was reading the book and they did it in a conflict to diffuse a situation, and it's like I'm almost ready to use it to figure people out,
yeah.
and that's where it gets unhealthy. So like I still for myself have to understand like
These things come with time.
the applications, but it's really real. Like this is like real shit. Like I can just compare it to everybody in my life and see what's going on.
Yeah.
But I'm not supposed to complex anybody about themselves either, because that's evil. So I gotta remember that. That's not being impeccable with my words.
Trying to play.
Yeah.
Let's do beginner too. It's new.
Feeling fancy.
Looks like we won't be doing that. Server is officially on maintenance.
Bruh! Are you for real?
Yes, sir.
Is it Tuesday?
Yes, it is.
I'm fucking done, dude. I haven't played fighters all week, and I want to play on Tuesday at 5.
Play on Wednesday night fights tomorrow.
Oh, I thought it was Wednesday.